any allegation against Russia. As I've said to him in that meeting when I'm pointing to him in a blue suit, with you, Mr. President, all roads lead to Putin. Russia's never gotten over the humiliation they suffered in Afghanistan, and now they're taking it out on us, our troops. This is totally outrageous. You would think that the minute the president heard of it, he would want to know more instead of denying that he knew anything. Now, if in fact, we'll find out if he has been briefed, and it was in his daily brief, but if it were not, what does that say about the concern that those who briefed the president have about not going anywhere near the Russia issue with this president? This is appalling. This is beyond, well, the list is a long one in terms of his ignoring what Russia has done. You see what he is a gift to Russia to diminish our leadership in NATO, diminish our troops in Germany, all a gift to Putin. Something is very wrong here. But this must have an answer.
You've raised that several times now. You said you don't know what the Russians have on President Trump, but do you believe they have something on him?
Well, how else would you explain his refusal to even to ignore again and again the intelligence that puts right at the Russian doorstep the involvement into our elections, for example? Now he's saying this is fake news. Why would he say that? Why wouldn't he say, let's look into it and see what this is? Giving money to the Taliban, a bounty on the lives of our troops in Afghanistan. How do you answer to the families of those whose family members are serving there? And he's engaged in peace negotiations with the Taliban, and he's kissing up to Putin in every way, saying he should be in the G7, even though he annexed Crimea and caused death and destruction in Ukraine. So totally irresponsible. Something is wrong with this picture. But putting that other aside, for the moment, let's just dwell on this. We hear also that the administration is considering diplomatic response to this or sanctions to this. Well, they either know about it or they don't know about it. The American people need to know what that is.
Before we go, I do want to ask you a little bit about the 2020 presidential campaign. You've seen all these polls this week showing Vice President Biden opening up a lead, former Vice President Biden opening a lead over President Trump. President Obama has warned Democrats not to get complacent. What is the greatest threat to Joe Biden's chance right now?
Well, I do believe that we have to put one good day in front of another. I take nothing for granted. 128 days, no wasted time, no underutilized resources, and no regrets the day after the election. And again, we saw what overconfidence did in 2016 and the horror that exacted onto the country. This election has everything at stake. Anytime we've said this is the most crucial election of our time, we thought it was true, but it just keeps getting more so. So I do believe it's going to be as long as we protect the vote. So if you ask what stands in the way, not the enthusiasm of the American people, not the excellence of our candidate for President of the United States. We're so proud of Joe Biden. He will be a great president. And all of the other candidates, I'm so proud of our House candidates. Hopefully we also win the Senate, which is very possible. But protecting the vote from the voter suppression that the Republicans know they can't win on the natural, so they have to engage in voter suppression and stand in. You look at their playbook and you'll see what they're afraid of, and that is the votes of the American people. We'll own the ground, we'll mobilize, we'll get out the vote, and we will have a victorious election come November, putting one good day in front of another.
Madam Speaker, thanks for your time this morning.
My pleasure.